Welcome back to Built Fabrications, and as you see behind me, the shop is quite empty, and that's because we're going to be getting a two-post lift installed today. You can see the riding on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. So this is our new lift that we're going to be getting installed in the shop. It's a Weaver Corporation 9,000-pound lift. It's an older lift, we got it used, but this is all American made. It's built with rotary parts, and yeah, this is back when things were built the way they're supposed to be built. So I'll get you guys in. We can see the construction, everything here. This shuttle carriage here is all 3/4 steel. The whole frame of this is 1/2 inch. It's not those thin Chinese pieces of junk that you'll see nowadays on the market. So definitely happy to get this. It is a chain equalizer for the two sides and a chain for the pulleys. It's not cables. And yeah, so let's get this bad boy installed. So where we're setting our post, we're going to go 12.5 feet off the back wall. 12 foot is pretty standard for a two-post lift. That way you can accommodate for different size vehicles as well as having a little bit of room in front of it. I gave it the extra 6 inches just to gain a little bit more access in case I want to put toolboxes or just a little bit more room to move around in front of the vehicle. So I did get some masking tape down here on the floor crudely where it's going to go for the inside. Whenever we get the post brought in here and set up, we'll shimmy it around and get it dialed in. So I'm going to get the camera set up kind of on a little bit of a time lapse or speed up the video, and we're going to start bringing these posts in. I've got some help here today, my buddy Austin, my stepdad Keith. So I appreciate you guys both very much and all the help, as well as Julia. And yeah, so we'll get these posts brought in and start getting this thing put together. All right, so we got the lift put in, we got the post set pretty close. We had to move it around to get our final measurements, make sure it's square. We're gonna wait to set the anchors until we have the majority of it together, just so we make sure that we have everything perfectly square the way it needs to be. So we did bring in our base plate. This is a base plate lift. And what we're gonna be doing is we have our chains, and after I run all this through, I'll show you guys kind of how it's routed and why. I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube that I myself was looking at before I got the lift to kind of prepare, that they'll take down the lift and put it up and they'll just kind of speed through it and not explain it. So I'll try to do my best to briefly explain the different parts and pieces. But we have equalizer chains that run through across to each post, and then we'll have a hydraulic hose that comes and connects the two cylinders that will get that fixed in. And then, yeah, we'll keep going from there. So I'm gonna get working on routing these chains. We'll drop the cylinders in and tighten down the hydraulic hose for it, and then we'll start getting the rest of this routing put together. All right, so we got the equalization chains ran. I don't know if they're actually called equalization chains, but that's what I call them. And so you have one that's tied to, I'm calling this the shuttle, on either side of your two posts. And the chain's attached to one side, and then you run it down around a pulley underneath along your base plate, if you have a base plate lift. If you have an overhead lift, this is all going to be at the top of the post. But you come around to the other side, run around this pulley, and you go up all the way to the top, hit the pulley on the top, and then you have this anchor bolt that's got a master link. Obviously, if you have a cable-driven lift, two-post lift, it's going to be a little bit different. But pretty much the same. You're just gonna have a cable instead of a master link. So the problem we are running into right now at this point is we got this one cylinder put in, but at the top, what we have is another pulley that is supposed to sit inside this, that goes on top of the cylinder, and then this is supposed to sit on top of that cylinder. I know I'm saying that a lot. And it rides on this other chain. And this is what, whenever you're using your hydraulic cylinders going up and down, this pushes on the chain and it just brings everything up and down. Issue that we're having is this side was rigged up at some point where they put some tack welds on the inside of this coupling as a stop, and they're just sitting it on this and drop it on top of the cylinder. Well, the issue with that, whenever you have a load on this, it's gonna keep it down, but there's nothing to keep it from falling. So if you get a little bit of an off balance in your load, this falls and the shuttle falls, if it's not locked in. So that's obviously not ideal. We don't wanna put that in. The other side, however, is different, where this actually has a sleeve that will sit around the cylinder. On this side though, this cylinder has been replaced, we found out, and it's a different rod size inside of that. Same outer bore, different rod size. And so this is too loose to fit on this side, but I could take this sleeve here and use it as a bushing, drop it in there and set it. But I only have one of these styles, so I have to try to order a new one of these. Hopefully I can get it in before this video comes out. If not, I guess it'll be part 2, but I'll try to see what I can do for that. So the next things that we need to do at this point in time, obviously we're on a little bit of a standstill with that, is we'll drop in our other cylinder on the other side. We can get that pretty much completely done, and we'll run our hydraulic cylinder. And now we're pretty much ready to make sure that we're perfectly square again with our posts, and then we're going to drill and set our concrete anchors so that these posts are permanently set and not moving around on us. So I'll get you guys set up on a camera. We'll start drilling these in and set these anchors and keep going. All right, so now we have this other cylinder in, and this is the way that it's supposed to go. You can see that we have the pulley and this actual correct end on here. And this middle chain is what sits on the pulley. And the reason that there's this slack in there is just because we have this shuttle is lifted and it's locked in with the cylinder here is fully collapsed. So whenever we get this, either the shuttle drop down and get the slack out of it, or bring the cylinder up, that will take this slop out of this chain. But I just want to show you guys the proper way and how it should look. So it goes around the cylinder instead of trying to weeble wobble on top. Well, my hammer drill just overheated. Hopefully it's not cooked. So in the meantime, I got the first post all drilled out. So we're gonna run these anchors in there while we let this drill cool down, and fingers crossed, say a little prayer, she's not toast. All right, so in addition to making sure that your two posts are square with each other, you also want to make sure they're level. Luckily, this first post was good to go, so we got that all torqued down. Check the specs of your concrete anchors. I use Confast for mine, and the torque rating for those are between 150 to 175 foot-pounds. I think I did about 160. My torque wrench goes to 150. I just went to 10 over on the dial, so maybe that's 160? I don't know. So anyways, once you get that done, or to check your level, just take a long level if you have it and set it up. And this is pretty close, but it is off a little bit, tilting in, so we want to shim the front. I believe the sides of this, side to side, are pretty good. About the same again. It's a little forward and a little towards this back wall, so we'll have to put a couple shims on the back side, and then we'll put some on the front. So what I got here is a shim kit. I got this off of Amazon, same as the concrete anchors. Pretty good deal. There's a little plastic, you can put them in, cut them, whatever, and there's different thicknesses. So I think that I'm gonna start with these red ones and see if that's the size that we need to get us level. And then after we get this level, I'll bring you guys back in, show you the shims, and verify that it's level. And then we'll get this side torqued down. All right, so we got the shims in, we got this level. I left these out just a hair. I'll push them further in here in a second before I tighten everything down. But I just want to show you guys. So it's a U-clip. You just stick it underneath. You could rock the post a little bit to get them underneath. And you just push in. These ones are plastic, doesn't really matter. It's just under compression. So I'll get these pushed the rest of the way in. We did need 2 of the thickest black ones, or 3 on this side. I just need 1 of the thinner red ones. It's the middle size for the kit that I got. Over here on the right side, and we're pretty level. We're just about perfect. So you can see here on the side, that's pretty much perfect right there. And then on the back side now, that's pretty much right there too. So I'll get this side tightened down, torqued down. We're getting pretty close. All right guys, so I got the top of this base plate put on, as well as the T-plates that hold it down. I will probably end up having to take this off because I need to grease my chains. I just want to get it on here to keep it protected for now. And yeah, I might also paint the top of this base plate. I don't know if I'd go with the same kind of yellow again or a different color, or honestly just leave it the way that it is. But we're pretty close to getting everything done. I do need to, like I mentioned earlier, get the top of the mount for the cylinder to get that other wheel on. This side over here is pretty much done. We just need to get the slack out of that chain, which is going to be done when we raise it. And yeah, whenever we get that in, we can put the 4 arms on and the pins for it, get this thing wired up, and it's pretty much done. All right guys, so it's about a week and a half later. I got the new part in for that hydraulic cylinder, and I got the roller on it, and I got it installed. I'll show you guys that here in a second. I also got the chain lubricated, and I got the lift wired up off camera. I filled the reservoir with about 2 gallons of hydraulic fluid. I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully that's enough that we can get it functioning. It's all I had left of the hydraulic oil I had here. But unfortunately, there's no sight glass and it's not a transparent reservoir, so I don't know exactly where the fluid fill is. But I think that 2 gallons should be enough. So the next things that I want to do is I want to get that motor going, take the slack out of these 2 shuttles, and make sure that we don't have any leaks in any of our fittings or joints or anything that we have. And then after that, I think we just need to get this base plate put back on, and then the lift arms on. We're pretty much done with this installation. All right, so this is the other fitting that we had ordered in. It matched up perfectly to the other side, which is good. So that's installed, as well as the pulley roller for that. So let's get this thing lifted and hopefully everything's copacetic. All right guys, so as I'm sure you can probably hear, it's raining and it's only gonna get harder, but we got the lift arms put on the lift and it is fully installed. Hopefully you guys found it at least a little helpful and entertaining. And if so, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate it very much. Get outside, get wrenching, piss off your neighbor, disappoint your mom, and until next time, keep on keeping on.